Afternoon VC, Harris here. First video for 2 weeks. Last fortnight I've spent on a lot of sort of post-lockdown shenanigans, mainly alcohol related, which has involved some injuries. I managed to cut myself up there. Don't go there. Midlife crisis, I think. But yeah, I've decided to, even though it's Saturday night, give myself a night out off. And the shops have been open again, and I've saved since lockdown. I've saved £40 a week on petrol. So work that out over 60 weeks, and bloody hell, there's a few quid if I wanted to spend on records, but I'm not going to. I don't want to get in that thing where you're just buying records for the sake of it and filing them away, and I've got other things to put my money to, and other people to take care of as well. So yeah, I mean, the first thing I've noticed in my first lockdown haul, anyone who knows me will tell you that outside of music, my two passions in life are Marmite and table tennis. And one thing I didn't realise when I went on my little haul last week is Marmite have upped their game. I love Marmite. I love going onto YouTube and watching Americans try Marmite for the first time. I'm so out of the loop. Marmite with peanut butter. I mean, this is like the planets have aligned for me. To Marmite and peanut butter, and it's as good as it sounds. It's incredible. And this is the real game changer. I wear Lynx deodorant. There's a Marmite version. You can smell like yeast 7 days a week, not just Sundays. It's amazing. Marmite Lynx. There it is. Yeah. I put this on the other night, and I went sort of late night shopping around Sainsbury's, and there was this girl following me, and she's quite attractive, and it turns out I think she was just hungry, to be honest. I think she was feeling a bit peckish and wanted some Marmite on toast. But yeah, huge game changer. So that's one of the main things that's come out post-lockdown. This is my Marmite haul. So yeah, good times. What have I been buying? This is some quite unusual choices for me, because I'm not really a fan of classic rock or, you know, the canon, but I don't like the Rolling Stones really, apart from Miss You and Waiting on a Friend. Those two songs I love Waiting on a Friend, but I really like Aftermath. So I bought a copy of Aftermath. By the way, I think this has been taken out of a box set, to be honest, because it was quite cheap, and you can't find it on Discogs, but I think there was a mono box set. And my favourite song on this album is What to Do. Me being an absolute dinlo, didn't realise that this is an American version and doesn't have What to Do on it, but it's still good. And yeah, and before anyone tries to convert me, I've heard all the other Rolling Stones albums, and I'm just not a fan. But yeah, this is a great one, sort of really poppy, and the sort of quite sort of soul-y. Love it. Aftermath by the Stones, mono version. There you go. It's a 2016 copy. Next up again, I've gone for the canon, the Kinks, Arthur. I don't know what's brought this on with me. This is, again, it's another sort of modern reissue with an extra set, and I don't know, maybe it's because of lockdown and I've started thinking about things, and this is it's a sort of a concept album about Britain and growing up in the 60s and the war and Churchill, and maybe I've had some sort of a philosophical debate with myself, maybe, about the state of Britain in a post-lockdown chaos. But yeah, this is the only Kinks album I own, apart from I've got some sort of cheapo greatest hits back there. But yeah, this is pretty good. Really enjoy it. Arthur by the Kinks. Next up, and this is a band I think everyone who watches my videos knows I love. And I told a story of how, on a previous video, how I sold all my Smiths 12 inches. I had the lot in about 92. And I sold them for about £1 each, which was about the going rate back in 92, because you couldn't give vinyl away. And the shop put them out for about £2.50 each, and they sat there for about 4 years, and I wonder whatever happened to them. So I found these cheap in the Smiths Ask, and the Smiths That Joke Isn't Funny Anymore. When I was little, I had a real crush on Youth for Joyce. I don't know why, but I love Youth for Joyce. And yeah, died tragically early, like every single British sitcom star of the 70s. But yeah, I like Ask, and it's got the B-side Cemetery Gates. That Joke Isn't Funny Anymore. It's got to be the strangest choice ever for a Smith single. And I think it was the only Smith single after the debut that didn't go top 30 in the UK, and it's not really surprising because it's a great song, but it's not a single in the slightest. But it's really good because it's got a little 4-track live EP on the B side, and it's brilliant, absolutely cracking. Starts off with what should have been the single from Meet Is Murder, Nowhere Fast, then Stretch Out and Wait, which is brilliant, Shakespeare's Sister, which I love and everyone hates, and Meet Is Murder, which is terrible on the album Meet Is Murder, but on the live version's great. So yeah, really chuffed to get these, and I've got them pretty cheap as well. So I'm slowly trying to rebuild my Smiths collection. It's sort of the thing that middle-aged vinyl men do. It's the vinyl equivalent of those blokes who build model railways in their box rooms or man caves. But I'm gonna try and reassemble all my Smiths 12 inches. I've got 4 so far. So yeah, we'll see how we get on. On a similar tip, English indie, and again cheap as chips this was, the Pill Sessions, Teenage Fan Club. It's got the single God Knows It's True on it. Alka Holiday, which was the best track off Bandwagon-esque in my opinion. A very different version, the Pill Session version. It's from 1990. I never buy records to sell them, but I always go on to look at the price, and this seems to go for insane amounts of money. I got this dirt cheap last week, but yeah, Teenage Fan Club, the Pill Sessions, that's a nice one. A little buy today that I got, I think, quite cheap. I went to a record fair, and a lad who knows me, and it's always good to get a relationship with a stall seller. That would be my best tip. If you go to a record fair, even if some of his records are more expensive than someone else's, if you're going to buy the bulk off one person, because there's one thing that record fair stall holders love, it's a familiar face and repeat business. So whenever I buy from this guy, he knocks about 30-40% off. And I bought, and I've still not heard this yet, The Dream Syndicate, The Days of Wine and Roses. I've heard it's very good. I've heard it's a little bit like Television, The Velvet Underground, maybe REM. I haven't listened to it. It's a nice copy. It's on Rough Trade / I've got it for peanuts. Really looking forward to hearing this later tonight. Should be a good one. Next up, I bought this today at the record fair. Dave Hamilton's Detroit Dancers, Northern Soul. I love Northern Soul. I'm a Northern Soul nut. I've got Northern Soul records all over the place here. In fact, I just tripped over this compilation, which was from the film Northern Soul, which is one of the great Northern Soul compilations of all time. But I'm looking forward to listening to this. The UK's got literally thousands of Northern Soul compilations. And this is on the Kent label. And this is a guy called David Hamilton, who was a songwriter. And these are all songs that flopped and didn't chart that he wrote, which is basically what Northern Soul is. It's records that flopped and didn't sell, and then Britain took them under its wing and built a whole huge cult around it, which is now bigger than it's ever been thanks to the internet. But yeah, again, not heard this. Looking forward to hearing it. It's got Little Ann on it, who's fantastic. Madam Sim was talking about Little Ann, I think, on one of his videos. Little Ann has got a song called I can't remember what it's called. It's one of my favourite ever songs. Deep Shadows by Little Ann. One of the greatest songs ever. Get on YouTube, listen to Deep Shadows. You're in for a treat. Thank me later. But yeah, can't wait to listen to this. Up next, another record fair to buy today. This wasn't as cheap, and I think I might have overpaid. But it's Revolution of the Mind, James Brown. This is almost like Live at the Apollo Part 3. This is the 70s to 74 era. Looking forward to it, although I read a couple of reviews coming home, and maybe it's not as good as I thought, but comes in a little gatefold there, and yeah, love James Brown, so looking forward to that. Next up, this is just a charity shop buy for £1 or so. I love Jerry Lee Lewis, and I heard that his country albums were really good, maybe his strongest, and funny enough, Jerry Lee Lewis's career came to a juddering halt about 500 yards that way, because in 1959, I think it was, or maybe 57, he came into Southampton on what would have been the Queen Mary, with a girl. It was at the height of his career, Great Balls of Fire. You know, the crowds flocked. He had a girl who looked mysteriously young, or suspiciously young. Jerry Lee Lewis thought he was going to be clever and said, "Oh no, it's all right. It's my wife, and she's 15." She was actually 13, and it was his cousin as well. So Jerry Lee Lewis was married to his 13-year-old cousin, which kind of brought his career to a grinding halt in the UK for a few years. And I say it happened just down there. But I bought this. Jerry Lee Lewis, she even woke me up to say goodbye. And I've got to say, it does sound fantastic. It needs a clean. But yeah, it's kind of country. piano country, and yeah, really looking forward to hearing this again. Bit of a cracker. Next one, I don't really know why I bought this, but I do enjoy it. Miles Davis, In a Silent Way. It's a modern repress. Sounds great. And I'm kind of getting into this 70s jazz now. I've always been a jazz fan, and not really what I'd call a jazz snob. I like sort of quite what people consider rubbish jazz, but I'm also starting to get into the more academic jazz, and yeah, this is great. Really enjoy it. Next up, again, another charity shop buy. I'm a sucker for girl group. Dream Babies, girls and the girl groups of the 60s. This has got, He's Got the Power by the Exciters, which is amazing. It's got a couple of tracks by the Crystals, the Thrills. It's got the first ever single by Cher called Dream Baby, which is really good. She was called Sherilyn. Yeah, and this is really good. Again, I can't wait to listen to this again. And my last one, and again, this is another charity shop buy. I'm an absolute sucker for 60s Latin soul, like Boogaloo, I call it, which kind of crosses over. Whenever I used to go to Northern Soul clubs, and they used to play a lot of Boogaloo as well, which is that kind of driving piano mixed with almost Motowny stacks. And this is a great one. This was a quid, but it's got all the bangers on. Ray Barretto, who's a real hero of mine. I love Ray Barretto, Joe Bataan, the Fania All Stars. It's really upbeat 60s dancey soul with real Latin Boogaloo sort of flavour as well. Love all this stuff. I've got loads of these sort of compilations. So that's my kind of early post-lockdown haul. Thanks for watching. I'm sure there'll be more to come, and speak to you soon.